Pale Matter presents Edge of the Forgotten. Edge of the Forgotten is a horror podcast series and may contain material not suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised. Please see the episode description for content warnings and additional details. Episode 4, Silly Girl.
The funeral service ends. The large gathering of people begins dispersing. A few head to expensive cars or SUVs, but most form smaller clusters of people, speaking boisterously or laughing at unfunny jokes. The time for mourning is done, even here in the cemetery. Seli watches all of this unfold with the bored curiosity of a 10-year-old. These are her mother's people, her mother's world. A world of corporate lawyers and CEOs and even a few politicians. A world she's only heard being talked about in anger and disgust during fights between her parents, back when they used to be together. She knows none of them, nor what they do, and it has never mattered to her. Her father speaks with a small group of people, his new wife by his side, and both their backs turned to her. This is not unusual. Being on the outside is her happy place. With no obvious attention on her, Seli slips away from the site of her mother's grave and toward the tree-lined border of the graveyard. The trees lead to a distant corner of heavier woods and bramble, a space that looks nicely overgrown, and a great place to play on her own. A cool breeze carries with it hints of lilac and honeysuckle and fresh-cut grass on this late spring afternoon. Being overdressed in a black dress and leggings, she finds the coolness pleasant. More trees populate the grounds this far out. Larger, older trees with broad canopies of wild branches. Many of the tombstones beneath them are unreadable, the letters worn away or overgrown with moss. A few threaten to fall over. But there's an even older area behind this, a place of half-dead hedge trees and thorny honey locusts, thick with vines and tall grass and weeds. The little light that makes it through the twisted branches dances across the wilds as small bright dots, reminding her of the will-o'-the-wisps of her books, though of course she doesn't believe in such childish things anymore. A wrought iron fence separates the older part of the cemetery from this abandoned space. A tall gate hangs at an odd angle from one hinge, with a matching metal archway completing the entry. A sign droops at the top of the arch, its words or name forgotten to the ravages of corrosion. The gate resists Seli's initial attempts to swing it open. Pressing her face against the cool bars, she spots a faint stone path leading beyond the gate clear enough to walk through, and a few broken tombstones hiding amongst the overgrowth, piquing her interest enough to double up her efforts with the gate. With a loud groan, the rust finally relents enough, rotating several inches out of the way. It's just enough space for her to contort and squeeze through, but not before the latch of the fence catches on the back of her dress, ripping a long gash and tearing away a piece for itself. It's an older graveyard on this side, a small family cemetery built long before the larger one. No one has been here in ages. No visitors, no caretakers. She has no way of knowing any of this, but she feels it nonetheless. This is a special place. Her own discovery, her own private retreat, and the wilds are comforting to her. She steps further in. There are no large or fancy markers here, no crypts, just overgrown plants and the occasional worn-away headstone. However, after a short, careful walk, she finds a stone bench in what seems to be the center of this space. She sits, her feet dangling just above the ground. "I see you found the most peaceful place here," a voice says. It's tone neutral, cool, but close. She should be startled from this sudden intrusion in this quiet place, but she knows this voice. Seli's imaginary friend, as her parents had referred to it years ago, though they almost never brought it up, as they had little patience for such nonsense and did not want to encourage her. Eventually, Seli learned not to mention her friend, even though her friend remained a frequent, if not shy, companion through the years. To Seli, the voice was her oldest and best friend. For the longest time, she had thought of it as a woman, and had given it the name Callie. But over the past few years, she had decided it was neither female or male, and had no name of its own. And that felt just right to her. "Everyone was busy," Seli says. "No one will miss me." "Like you don't miss your mom?" the voice asks. Seli doesn't respond right away, but not because the voice is wrong. They had talked about her parents often enough, and the voice understood Seli's heart as well as Seli herself did. No, she did not miss her mom. Perhaps there was the smallest pang of nostalgia for a time that never truly existed. A happy time before the break, when both parents were simply happy and enjoyed spending time with her. Seli and the voice had talked about memory and its unreliability, and how those false images of idyllic happiness were formed by a constant barrage of fictional scenes in books or on TV shows. Happy childhood was a concept to be packaged and sold, the voice taught her, and not something worth pining for. And yet, that idea persisted, somewhere deep in her chest. The voice spoke after several moments, no longer waiting for an answer it already knew. "I see they've dressed you in all black. Fitting, of course." Seli squirms in her clothing, trying to stretch the legging material to give her more space. "I hate it," she says. "It's all so tight, like I can't move. And stuffy. My pretend mother took me shopping after they heard about the helicopter crash." "It's a way to look somber even if you aren't," the voice says. "But the black suits you. You should wear it more often." "I guess so," Seli says. "I like my black hairband. Oh, and look at this rip." She stands up to show the tear down her dress, giving a bit of a proud twirl. "Pretend mother's gonna hate this. All that money they spent just to be ripped up. She won't scream, she never screams at me, but I know she'll be mad. You can see when she gets mad because her face scrunches up and turns red, like she's trying to hold it all in." "That won't matter today. You'll see," says the voice. "Are you sure?" Seli asks. "I kind of like it when she's mad. She doesn't try so hard then." "My Seli girl. What I tell you always comes true, does it not?" Seli nods but doesn't ask more, and the voice doesn't elaborate. Seli is used to this by now. "You don't remember when I first came to you, do you, Seli girl?" She shakes her head no. While she had never seen the being behind the voice, she knew the voice could see her. Watched over her, in fact. And for as long as she could remember, the voice was simply there. A friend to play with, to talk to, a confidant, and a teacher. It was in many ways more apparent to her than her actual parents. "You were a young child, still a baby, not yet even standing on your own. And you were crying up such a storm. Night after night you cried, for hours, desperate alone in the dark, screaming for anyone to come. And so, I did. I came to you when I could no longer ignore your pain and fear. Your parents left you there in the dark, left you to cry and scream until there were no more tears, no more voice. To them it worked, because you would eventually settle. But it was me there with you, lulling you to sleep." Seli had spoken to the voice about a great many things over the years. Her so-called friends at school, her teachers, and all the things she wished to do when she grew up. Often, though, the subject was her own parents, their busy schedules and how they seemed to not care about her much at all. Sometimes the voice spoke of darker things, about people and the failings of society, and all of the damage done to this small, insignificant world. These were the words the voice had used, and while Seli did not always understand at first, she had started to. In this way, the voice was a guide, leading her to somewhere still unknown. And Seli would have considered this current topic, how her parents had treated her as a baby, as such, except that Seli had heard it herself. Her parents had often fought, at least when they were together, and being together for them wasn't frequent once she got into grade school. Antagonism and challenging each other seemed to be the default state. They were both lawyers, and the need to debate was strong in both of them. But then there was the week Seli had since referred to as the break. She didn't recall who mentioned taking a break first, but after that, the yelling increased. She does remember, and hears it now as if it were being said the first time. Her mom arguing with her father and saying in a seething voice, "Remember, you wanted kids. You wanted her, not me. She's always been yours. I didn't want this, any of this." After that, well, everything was broken. Mother moved into a high-rise apartment in the city, what she called a penthouse suite. Seli saw it twice. It was high up and beautifully cold, with gray tile floors and various grays on the walls. It felt very much like Mother. There were attempts by her mother to show a softer side, and this always entailed giving Seli something. Toys she didn't play with, stuffed animals that brought her no comfort, clothes she wouldn't wear, electronics and games and other trinkets that were left collecting dust in the corners of her room. They were hollow attempts at showing love, as the voice explained to her. Seli's father was better, for a while, but then he had a girlfriend who became a fiancée, who became a wife, all in quick succession. And this woman, the now pretend mother, showed a great deal of attention to Seli. How she should look a certain way, read the right kinds of books, or go to the right school. The pretend mother replaced all of Seli's clothing, stocked her shelves with classic books, and switched her to a private school. None of these things Seli wanted either. And soon she learned the woman's favorite word, ungrateful. But she gave a lot of attention to Seli, and that was enough for her father to feel she was well cared for, allowing him to turn his focus back to his work. Seli knew, even without being told by the voice, that none of this was for her, or even about her. This was all about what these others wanted. And so, Seli retreated more and more into her room, learning more of the world from the voice than any of her new books. This was made even easier as she had no friends in the new school. She wasn't bullied, she just wasn't acknowledged. And eventually, this was what Seli wanted. Preferred even. The voice seemed to understand. It often spoke of the time before time, an endless long period when darkness was all that there was. It was still and quiet and peaceful, the voice said. And while all of that changed, eventually, it will all return to that state of darkness once more. It was clear to Seli that the voice preferred this kind of stillness, and Seli could understand why. The voice said it was a cycle of sorts, how the end of one thing is the beginning of something else, and that was just part of the beauty of the world. "You seem lost in thought," the voice says after Seli sat in silence for several minutes. Seli nods. "Why is this place so much different than the rest of the cemetery?" she asks. "It's peaceful, isn't it?" the voice says. "This is a family graveyard. Started long ago when settlers first stopped here and started farming this land. It was a difficult time, farming land like that. People didn't live as long. Their children died more easily. There are several kids buried here, in fact, if you could read the headstones. But eventually, after many, many years, people moved on and away. And so this is now simply a forgotten place, somewhere that people no longer remember or care about. And that makes it a very special place indeed. You can feel it, right?" Seli nods again, more enthusiastically this time. "Some people think it's haunted," the voice says. "But that's not true. We don't believe in ghosts, do we, Seli girl?" "No," Seli answers. The voice continues. It's a thin place, though. Forgotten places become thin, and thin places are closer to those endings we sometimes talk about. These thin places are opportunities for new things to come out. I'd like to see that, Seli says. You will, one day. You and I will see a great many new things together. There is silence for a few minutes as Seli imagines what her future could be. I need to tell you something, my Seli girl. It's important that you hear it from me. This is one of those endings, the passing of your mom, but it's more than that. Your dad is leaving you. Seli hears a voice calling out, quite far away, though she's unable to tell if it's her father or not. Your dad and pretend mother are giving up on you, abandoning you to another relative. You haven't heard them speak of this, but I have. And I decided it was time to tell you. They're giving up on you, so that they no longer have to pretend to care. What? Seli asks. Who are they giving me to? Your mother's aunt. Your great aunt. I don't know her. Seli's mind races, shattering the stillness of this forgotten place. The voice says, she only matters in that she's old, and will watch over you just enough to see you grown. And then, you will be on your own, to thrive in ways you've never imagined. This is a big step, Seli, but an important one. A new beginning. A voice calls her name out again, this time quite clearly her father's. He's heading this way. Seli, the voice says, you are one of the forgotten. Not just today, and not just because of this change. It's always been this way. It is one of the reasons you're so special to me. I guess so, Seli says, downtrodden, not feeling how this should be a good thing. I don't say that to be cruel, the voice says. You're very special, Seli. You and I are going to do great, important things together. This puts you one step forward on that path. A thought occurs to Seli, one that she's never wondered until now. Did you do this? She asks quietly. Seli! Her father yells to her, now quite close. You know I have only ever had your best interests in mind, the voice says. Do you think you'll miss your father? The one who's never home? Or your pretend mother? The one who only sees you as something to benefit her? A young girl dressed up as a lifestyle accessory to her? To be cute, to smile on cue, to make her look more motherly? Did you do this? Seli asks again. The voice is right. How she feels abandoned, has felt abandoned for as long as she can remember. But somehow this still feels like a betrayal. And for the first time today, she feels the welling of her tears. I have always been there for you, Seli, the voice says. And I will always be. You will see how I saved you. You will blossom in the most amazing ways. The rusted gate screeches in protest as her father yanks a few hard times on the bars, but he makes it through. She hears the rustle of the weeds and a yip of pain from her father, likely an encounter with a thorn branch, before he steps into view. There you are, my silly girl. I was looking all over for you. She gives him a half smile before making her way to him. I needed some time alone, she says, feeling that more than ever now. I get it, he says. It's a tough day. He puts his hand on her back, the closest he gets to a hug today, and directs her back along the path and through the old gate. Everyone's clearing out, but I have someone for you to meet. Someone from your mom's side of the family. Seli doesn't say anything as they slowly walk back toward the front of the cemetery, she a few feet off to the side. He talks of changes and how he's trying to make things better. How they all need a new beginning and new adventures to come, new opportunities to make new friends. There's excitement in his voice, though she's not sure if it's excitement for her or for him. She stops listening halfway through. The voice is there, nearby though silent. She feels its presence, as she always does, and though she's never seen it, she feels it smiling nonetheless.
Edge of the Forgotten is a Pale Matter podcast distributed by the Realm Podcast Network. Our theme music was created by composer Jimmy Svensson and is available for purchase. See the episode description for more details. If you like what you've heard today, we encourage you to rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your preferred podcast app, and please share this show. This helps us grow our audience, which in turn helps us produce more episodes. For more detailed information about Edge of the Forgotten, credits for this particular episode, or the production team behind this series, please visit our website at www.palematter.com or see the episode description to find out how to listen to our shows, follow us on social media, or connect with us on Discord. For a deeper dive into Edge of the Forgotten, check out our Patreon, where we offer insights and supporting information, physical and digital props, bonus episodes and recordings, and other assets that expand the story in a variety of ways. Thank you for listening.